It is the Riot podcast back again. I mean, we were back for Black Friday, but
now you're back to like an official regular even though we have a lot of Cyber Monday talk today, but we are back to a normal week.
I will say the podcast a little shorter today because I'm sick, and so I didn't save as much. And honestly,
though it was all good.
Oh,
okay, it was all really good. It wasn't your sickness.
It's great. You're just gonna love it.
We just don't need to catch anything, guys.
I also did not include the food fight.
Why? It was funny.
Because it was
so sad.
It's a pathetic food fight. If you want to, special bonus content, go find it on our Facebook page, Radio U Riot on Facebook.
Or I did upload it. If you want to go to Radio U Riot on our YouTube channel, you can watch our Riot food fight, but you cannot hear it in this podcast. We tried the hot cocoa Oreos, which sent Obi into a coughing fit.
Oh, yeah. I'm allergic to hot cocoa. Who knew? Who knew?
It just set you off.
So today in the podcast, we talk about what happened on my flight home, MST3K, college football, Justice League.
Canada football?
Canada football.
Did you include that as well?
I definitely talked about Canadian football. Well, Hudson did anyway. So you guys enjoy the podcast. Don't forget that tomorrow is Giving Tuesday. So if you haven't heard of it yet, please take some time. Go to radiou.com/Tuesday. I will tell you that everything you do to support Radio U makes this podcast possible. The podcast is not free for us to produce or make or send out. So anything you can do to help is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, please check out again, radiou.com/Tuesday. And if you hear of other Giving Tuesday places, you'll get a lot of nonprofits tomorrow asking you about that. Think about helping. We've bought a lot over the weekends, but maybe it's a chance for you to help, a company that likes to give to others.
Yeah, so great idea, Nikki.
Okay, let's do it.
So radiou.com/Tuesday. It's the Riot.
Imagine a world where the Riot never talks and it's glorious Radio U music for hours on end. Now, imagine the opposite of that. You're already there. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
After the show on Friday, I learned something that I wish I had known during the show because we would have absolutely... probably spent the whole time celebrating
the whole show. Maybe it's better we didn't find out until today.
Maybe it's better that we didn't find out. Nikki, it's a time for looking back over the year.
Yeah.
And as I look back over the year, there was one item in particular that was a standout entertainment moment for me that I enjoyed greatly.
For like what?
For what?
From the show or from like movies or TV? Or
from Netflix.
From Netflix?
It was Mystery Science Theater 3000, The Return.
Yes. You really were glad that. Because it got crowdfunded and then Netflix picked it up or something. So it then released some episodes.
I enjoyed it so much. Loved it. I actually have seen almost every episode twice. That's how much I liked it.
And these aren't short episodes.
No, they're 90
minutes.
Movies. I had so much fun with it. And they announced that they got renewed for a second season.
Yay!
Yes!
That's what you were waiting for the whole time.
I've been waiting all year to hear that. All year to hear that.
Congratulations. And one of your shows you liked got picked up again.
It's shocking,
It
really.
never happens.
It's shocking. Normally, me liking something is the kiss of death.
Maybe because that was such an established show many, many years ago, it had a chance.
Yeah, it's something. There were somebody somewhere. It's a Christmas miracle.
That's your show got picked up again.
Yeah, so they haven't said when it will be out. They said the not too distant future, so probably sometime in 2018.
Now, I have seen, I know it's the premise of a Mystery Science Theater show, and I know it's you're watching a movie with them as they make commentary.
Yeah, they make fun of it.
It's bad movies, and they're old bad movies. I always thought they were old bad movies from the 60s and 70s, or is it more current, any time period?
Yeah, it's not, keep in mind that it's not they're not making fun of Justice League or something like that. It's something that is...
It's still dated.
And they have to be able to get the rights to it.
So it's poorly made.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff.
But I wasn't sure. I was will they ever run out of movies? If it was just in the 60s or if it was just in the 70s. But if it's got a bigger window, there's plenty of movies.
They seem to be doing okay. My hope is that for the second season, they now have a partnership with Netflix, or maybe on some level that maybe they could even get some
better movies,
better bad movies in the middle of it all. It has to be a thing. I'm sure it's a thing.
So if anybody else is excited too, OB is. Mystery Science Theater got picked up by Netflix.
I was absolutely thrilled to hear that. Thrilled. They got picked up, Nikki. They're going to have a second season.
You. I know. Isn't that exciting?
They're going to be a season 2.
You've got more episodes coming.
Having a bad day? Blame the Riot. Everyone else does. And in fairness, it's probably their fault. Radio U.
Dude, over the weekend, I don't know about you, Nikki, but I watched a lot of football.
I thought you might.
I did. Saturday.
It's a big weekend.
Saturday was a big day for college football. Very excited to see Ohio State beat Michigan on Saturday.
But he's a team player, so, for all of our Radio U Michigan as well, that's sad too.
You guys know how it is. You know how it is. When it's the game, it's the game.
You just can't help it.
That's just the way it is. I love Ohio State, okay? Right, so there was that. Mm-hmm. And then I also watched, I watched some of the Wisconsin game. And, dude, okay. Now, as an Ohio State fan, what I really needed to happen, I really needed Alabama to beat Clemson.
Oh, for the Iron Bowl?
Mm-hmm. That's what, excuse me, I'm getting that wrong, aren't I? Auburn. I needed Alabama to beat Auburn. That's what I needed to happen. But you know what? I love seeing Alabama get beat. I love it.
He loves that.
It's one of the special pleasures that there is on the earth.
Because it doesn't happen all the time.
It's seldom. I mean, it was Alabama's first loss. And Auburn ate Alabama for lunch, dinner, and leftovers. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I
know you were sad on one end, but on the other side, what a really good game.
I didn't watch the first half. I only watched the second half, and I couldn't believe it. They absolutely shut them down in a way. I was blown away by it. So if you're a Bama fan, roll over Tide. If you're an Auburn fan, congratulations. You had a great weekend there for sure.
Yeah, Auburn was number 6 going into it, and Alabama was number 1, previously undefeated.
Auburn moving up to number 4, Alabama sliding to number 5, Clemson moving into the top spot, and then, lo and behold, Wisconsin at number 3, and Ohio State moving to number 8, and there is the Big Ten championship game this Saturday. I saw a lot of people talking about how Michigan fans are now all Wisconsin fans. Well,
that happens with any time.
Nikki, it's one of those things where it is a sliding scale where your love is as far as football goes. But man, it was. I was sick. Are you cold? Because I'm freezing.
In here?
Yeah.
It's 69. Yeah, okay. It's actually colder than it normally is in here. Okay. But it also could just be your body reacting to your cold. It's called a cold for a reason. You're feeling cold.
Yeah, but I spent the weekend, I built a fire, got a bunch of blankets, and sat there and just watched football.
Bring your blanket in there if you need it in the morning.
I should have. That wouldn't be weird.
Well, no, it's not, because that's medical. Okay. You bring your comforter in.
You're not allowed to make fun of my comforter because I'm sick and it's medical.
Okay.
You can't make fun of my glasses.
And you have to just
make fun of my comforter.
And my comforter as it is because I'm bringing it into work.
So another big weekend for college football coming up. It's great. Conference championship weekend. And it's going to be another weekend on the couch.
You feel better than before this weekend. You need to enjoy this set of games.
I enjoyed them on Saturday. I mean, I think, I saw them. I didn't know everything that was happening, while it was on.
Maybe you weren't your normal right on it self, but you'll be fine this weekend.
It's going to be better. Great. You know what? I'll just be sick all week, but on the weekend, I'm going to be good.
I bet you'll feel totally fine by then.
Yeah.
When it's 2 weeks later.
I'm going to be better by tomorrow.
You know how Chris got over his stuff? And last year, I was just sick for a small amount of time. You're going to be just fine.
He's had the same cough for 6 months. We can be 3 rooms, a floor and 3 rooms away.
You can be home when I hear him.
You can still hear Chris coughing down in the network operations center.
So I bet you're going to feel great in a couple of days.
No big deal.
Leftovers from the most disgusting meal you've ever had. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Nikki, I can't help but feel that...
I don't know why I'm watching them. I don't know why.
I can't help but feel that you're really in the Cyber Monday spirit.
I'm not at all. I just was sending you a couple items I thought you might like.
I think you're looking to buy something.
No, not
Because
anything I sent you.
It started with her looking at the Hamilton Beach dual breakfast sandwich maker.
I was fascinated because I had a breakfast sandwich maker a few years ago.
You
and
did,
I
I
feel
remember.
like it's evolved now.
Oh, it's changed.
It doesn't look anything like it did. And I thought, well, actually, it looks pretty practical, I guess. Mine had like a toaster with it. But this one doesn't toast. So I thought I'd share it with you and show it to you.
As long as you are definitely using English muffins, it looks like this will work.
They're like, if you use a small bagel, your breakfast meats are already cooked, and your stuff is toasted, then it's perfect for you and your fast-paced morning lifestyle.
Yeah, they're like the way they're selling it to you is like, this is going to help you have a much faster breakfast prep time. You can even use pancakes. You're like, okay, wait a minute. Where did the pancakes come from?
They're just there. You can buy those, pre-made.
Well, Nikki, a lot of people, they say the really healthy thing is to make your meals up on the weekends, and then they're ready during the week.
Am I food prepping pancakes? Because if I am, that's not what food prep is supposed to do.
I go ahead and I make about 20 pancakes on a Sunday. I put them in the fridge.
Because they're like, you should food prep broccoli or like a grilled chicken, not usually pancakes.
Well, they just
or
don't have...
bacon or a breakfast meat.
They haven't seen the Hamilton Beach 25,490A dual breakfast sandwich maker.
I just thought it was a really good sale. And then I was looking at the burrito maker, which doesn't fold the burrito, so what's the point?
And then Nikki found some shoes she thought would be good for me.
I thought they were nice. I thought they were good. I'm not sending you anything else today. Fine.
I'm just saying
you
that,
don't need my help to shop.
Nikki's over there watching videos on how this thing works. And I'm actually thinking like, dude, she's falling down the hole.
Just look, I was curious, that's all.
Yeah. Now, I will say that in the middle of all of this, like I got a little suggested whatever. Did you see the nostalgic grilled cheese sandwich toaster?
No, is that there?
You put bread and cheese in and it makes grilled cheese.
Well, that's what any grilled cheese recipe is.
No, I know that, but like it's all one step. You just put it in there.
The lid comes down on it sort of thing?
It's just a toaster.
It's a grilled cheese press?
You just put it, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to yawn for like this whole break.
At least it's when you're boring yourself. That's what I appreciate the most.
It's not a press. It's a toaster. Like, drop it in the little thing and push
drop it down in. Okay. I bet you could do that with maybe our toasters we have now.
Do not try that with a standard toaster.
It's not going to work.
Do not do that.
All right, well, Adidas has a sale, so I'm going to look at that now and not send you anything.
Well, you sent me Reebok before, and I've never bought Reeboks in my whole life.
I just saw the little side triangle on it. Looked very spacey and very like you.
It looked like I was ready for the Andromeda mission.
Something like that. And
fine.
$20 for a pair of shoes is a really good price.
That is a good deal.
But sorry.
What? No, Nikki, you're in the spirit of the season. It's Cyber Monday. So it's great.
I just feel sometimes like a personal shopper. Like, here, look at this. Just in case you missed it.
Have you considered a breakfast sandwich maker?
The part that keeps me up at night, we paid them for this. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
If you need something to keep you occupied today, to keep you from buying a sandwich maker or, something along those lines.
I was only looking.
I know. I'm just... You know what, Nikki?
Just in case someone else is having trouble and you want to buy it.
I'm telling you that you may not be the only one, okay? That's all I'm saying. I have something for you. Look up Flat Earth. Google that.
All the stuff that's been going with that?
Dude, the Flat Earth people. I think they've always been there. It's just it's getting way more internet attention right now. But this guy, Mike Hughes, he built a homemade rocket.
That on its own is a warning bell for me.
Something like ding, 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 ding,
Not
ding.
even just the flat earth person, but the fact that he wants to build a homemade rocket.
I don't have as much of a problem with that as you might think that you should, just because if you go back, 100 years, more than 100, 150 years, like aviation was a private industry, like that. And it technically, I guess it still is, but you know what I mean? Like people were making and experimenting with their own airplanes. So the idea of somebody making their own rocket, hey, that could be cool. But here's the thing. He wants to get in it. That's a warning bell to me. That's where it's like,
he should just be sending an unmanned one.
Yeah, he believes that everything that we have seen from NASA or basically any government agency at all about the Earth being round is in fact a lie. and it's propaganda that they have been spreading. I don't know what the end game of the propaganda is. I don't know. That's the part I don't understand. Like, if I don't know what is gained by us believing that the Earth is a sphere, but he says that the Earth is a flat disk.
Yeah.
And he says that his rocket was built to carry him 10 miles up, and he said from 10 miles he would be able to prove
his zone outside of a government entity.
That's
so
right.
he was going to go 1,800 feet in his rocket, and that would be able to photograph from space the type of world he thinks we're on. And that was scheduled for, was it last Saturday? So this past weekend. And then the government got wind of what he was doing, and so he was not able to use public land in California to take off from his rockets.
Which, of course they would.
Oh boy.
Because he's about to show them.
Was built out of a used motor home, broke down in the driveway on Wednesday. So he had to get that fixed first.
Nikki, just to be clear, this guy is doing this on his own.
Sure.
And so as a result, he's got to he's working with private funding.
It's very private. So it seems like, based on his YouTube announcement, that they eventually got that fixed, the launcher fixed, and then they need to just figure out the permission to get, federal permission to get the ability to launch from land.
So that's the plan. He's going to launch that thing, and then he's going to prove everybody wrong. I don't understand. I thought you just said he was only trying to go 1,800 feet. I thought he was trying to go 10 miles. But you're right. That's what it says.
1,800 feet high.
I see that here, but I thought I also read he was, whatever. But I want to know, does he have a parachute in there?
I'm sure. No, I can see he has a rocket flight that he's done, and I see the screenshot of the YouTube videos of a parachute. So
okay,
I guess he calls himself Mad Mike Hughes.
Yeah, and the thing is, he calls himself Research Flat Earth, but he says he doesn't believe in science, which is odd because what he's trying to do is confirm a theory, which is in reality very scientific.
Listen. You don't point out the holes, okay? We can't start doing that.
To be abundantly clear, part of me is just go for it, man. Do I believe the Earth is a sphere? Yeah, I do. Okay, I do. But
it'd be interesting to see if he could make the rocket and get that high and do that.
This guy's convinced that, the Earth is not, and he's trying to see if he's right. And so I got to give the guy an inch. I'm not giving him a whole lot of credit, but a little bit of credit for at least. Because if you give
him an inch, he'll go 10 miles.
I know. I feel like there's kind of a good on you guy for at least trying to figure out, hey, are we right? Is it really that I'm going to build a rocket and figure it out? There's a little, some of that entrepreneurial spirit. You might think about instead, starting a business or something, but whatever. There's something there.
Now, he's done all this based, it looks like, on funding from other people who maybe want to see what he could do.
Including Archie's Ice Cream.
Archie's Ice Cream?
Yeah, if you look at the suit he was going to wear in the rocket thing.
Oh, is that a sponsor?
He's got a sponsor.
Oh, he got a sponsor.
Archie's Ice Cream.
That's cute.
Hey, who wouldn't want a good flat earth ice cream?
Publicity is good.
We'll take it.
Okay? We all want ice cream, no matter what we believe.
We all scream as hopefully Mike doesn't go up in a ball of flames for ice cream.
The worst of the riot has no expiration date. It's born spoiled. It's the Riot on Radio U.
We were all set to hear about what happened on my flight when, what do you know, the Great White North swooped in. And when that happens, Nikki, it's really hard for us to just go ahead and go with the way the north wind blows.
We can't ignore Hudson. He's here, so we might as well have him on.
Good morning, Hudson.
Good morning. For a limited time. You only get me for this, 5 minutes.
Well,
yeah.
And then we get back to you. So, you have the whole morning for your thing.
Right. Oh, I see. So let's go ahead and stop everything and see what Hudson wants.
Yes, of course.
All right. So, Hudson, how was last night's Canadian football championship?
So, now wait. In Canada,
yes,
their football league, which is only
the CFL.
The Canadian Football League.
Isn't there
8
8 teams?
9 Canadian
9 teams.
teams.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. All right, because you got to have enough to play each other, have a winner.
Yeah.
And so this is this like their Super Bowl, or
It is their Super Bowl, although it's the 104th, I think, or something like that. So it's gone on a little longer than the Super Bowl.
A rich history.
Yeah, of course.
Is that one of those things that Canadian Football League fans are like,
They say that.
yeah, we're over 100 now.
Actually, well, last night was a really great game. It was the Stampeders, Calgary Stampeders, and Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah.
Of course
And
it is. Of
you may
course it
remember
is.
last year, the Stampeders lost in heartbreaking fashion. And spoiler alert once again. I mean, we all know this, right? We all watched. They lost again.
Is there a way to watch that legally?
Yeah, it was on the ESPN app.
Which channel?
The app. You have to go to the app.
The app channel?
Actually, I think it was. I mean,
Roku channel?
who uses
The-
real TV anymore? But I think it was on ESPN2.
The Canada? The ESPN, the Canada?
Well, if you were in Canada, it was everywhere, I'm sure.
Sure.
So it was a great game. The Argonauts had 2 touchdowns that were over 100 yards. One was a fumble return
In
that
the
gave
snow.
Yes, in the snow. And
Man, look
here's
at you, Nikki.
something.
Were you watching?
No, I was just guessing.
It was snowing,
I
actually.
figured it was cold, so I just went with it.
But here's something that could interest some of us. The MVP was DeVere Posey, who, does that name sound familiar? Maybe a little slightly?
It does. Didn't he play for Michigan?
He played for Ohio State.
Oops.
Didn't he play for Ohio State?
He played for Ohio State.
That's where you
and
know him
and
from.
then I guess he couldn't cut it in the NFL, but boom, CFL,
But in the CFL.
he dominates.
Do you think he hates the fact that he's like
He's
in the
there.
Canadian
I
Football
bet
League?
he's probably just happy to play.
I
there
really wonder
somewhere.
about that because, I mean, they have a rule about how many Canadian players they need to have on every team.
Right.
But, like,
They
a
really
good
do?
percentage. Yeah, they do.
Isn't that
No.
like, because like in Canadian radio, you have to play a certain percentage of Canadian
That's
artists
exactly
on
right.
radio,
Yep.
so they are known to be very Canada.
The Canadian government is acutely aware that culturally they do not want to become the United States.
Sure, so they mandate that.
Yeah. So and even on their football teams. So, well, Hudson, next year you got to remember to text me and tell me
Yeah.
that's happening because I think I would have watched at least some of that yesterday, but I had no idea it was going on.
All right. That's the second year in a row. So I will.
He's not going to remember.
I'm definitely going,
going to remember
Yeah,
next
right.
year.
I'm
Okay.
going to forget. I'm going to watch it myself and whatever.
And then come in here and be like, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
did you watch last
so wait,
night's?"
so what was the name of the game that was yesterday?
The Grey Cup?
So the Grey Cup. How Canada is this? So Shania Twain
Oh,
was
yeah.
pulled through a snowstorm on a dog sled, and that was
That's
the
like-
halftime of the Grey Cup.
They're just a parody of themselves at that point.
It's like, how Canada is that? That was the
A
halftime
moose
show.
came out and poured maple syrup onto her head
That was it.
and then apologized for it.
So that's what you could look forward to. That was the halftime show for the Canadian Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh, we have totally missed it. Like is Shania Twain Canadian?
She is
yeah,
Canadian.
she is.
Okay, and I just love the idea of there's always this big fuss over our Super Bowl halftime show. Where's the drama for the Canadian one?
Right. People.
I don't know. This is what they get.
I will say that my aunt, Lori, who is in Canada, complained about the halftime show.
Oh, she didn't like
So,
it.
I know she was upset.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
So she may not be the only one.
Oh,
wouldn't
it's
be-
nice to know no matter where you're at in the world,
People are
people
are
still-
complaining.
at halftime. Yeah.
That's nice.
You know, that makes me feel more connected to our neighbors up north.
Yeah. Now, Hudson, even though we talked about the Canadian Football League, I had American Dream by Danger Scene already pulled up. So
Maybe
it
the American dream is to move to Canada.
could be.
It could be.
Maybe
I
you
don't
just-
know if the football's selling it. I don't know if that's it. Unless, again, you're one of the few players you can go and play.
Sure.
All right. Well, you know what? It makes me. I wonder if they have it archived on the ESPN app because I want to go home and forget to watch it. But
Why don't you just forget to watch it here at work, too?
okay, that's a great idea. I
See
want to
where
see.
you can do it.
I want to see if I can find the archive of that halftime show.
It's right here. I have it.
What does that look like?
The Riot with Obadiah.
Oh, loneliness and cheeseburgers are a dangerous mix.
The Riot with Nikki.
Shut up.
Oh, don't tell me to shut up!
The Riot on Radio U.
So hey, flew back to my hometown last week and didn't even talk about what happened, and I can't believe this. There's been this magic thing that has happened to Nikki, I think multiple times, but has never happened to me when I was flying. And I can only say it's a bummer.
Now you can join.
I know. But
the people that have experienced this on a plane.
Here's the thing that kills me is that I get up and go to the bathroom on the flight. Haven't gone to the bathroom at all, whatever. And I finally was like, you know what? There's no line. There's no wait, whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and go to the bathroom now. This is like a preemptive bathroom trip. And while I'm in the bathroom,
someone throws up.
Oh, yeah.
Out where the seats are? Or?
Yeah. And here's the thing is I come out of the bathroom.
You miss all of it.
Well, you know what? The flight attendant is basically sprinting at me with a drink cart. And I was like, what?
Where do I go?
So I'm at the back of the plane. So I stepped back into the little, flight attendant room and hang out. And I was like, is everything okay? And she's like, somebody just threw up.
Why couldn't you find out what the code word was? Like, there must be, if you're a airline person, is there a code for throw up?
I don't know. But here's the thing that got me is I expected some rubber gloves to come out. That I'm just like, there's got to be rubber.
No, I think they have the sawdust stuff that you're supposed to sprinkle, like if you're at the mall or in school.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's no rubber gloves. But this guy threw up on her shoes.
The
person threw up on the flight attendant's shoes. So she's wiping vomit off of her shoes. And
she tracked that up the plane?
Well, you know what? I don't feel like it was on the bottom of her shoes.
It's dripping.
But I'm sure it was.
Yes, I'm sure.
So she's wiping it up and she's wiping up her hands. And then she goes into the bathroom and comes out with a stack of
paper
towels. And I'm watching this and I'm just thinking, I'm like, you guys are supposed to have like specialty items, things you do. Like you should be in a hazmat suit right now. You should have some kind of like a spray thing that's like vomit be gone and it magically takes it away.
Maybe it wasn't a lot of vomit though, or did he use the bag? Or?
I stood there for a long time and she went up and all the seats looked the same. So what I couldn't figure out was like, okay, did this guy throw up before my seat or after my seat? He was 3 rows in front of me. And so I got back to my seat, and first off, the smell is strong.
There's nowhere to go.
It is strong. The other thing that got me is that it must have been the guy on the edge that threw up, like on the aisle seat. Because, bro, for real, it was everywhere. But he didn't get up. He didn't anything.
Well, he's probably embarrassed.
Well, but you would think that he would be like, I don't want it on me. I have to go to the bathroom.
No, when you're embarrassed, you don't care. You shut down.
You're just riding it out.
You just shut down. He's like, listen, if he gets up, everybody knows.
And so the tale of 2 flight attendants with their paper towels and whatever else scrubbing. And then they finally came and threw a mat over it. But I got to tell you, didn't really get clean. And I didn't feel like they started spraying this orange spray. So it was like, well, now it smells like he ate oranges and vomited. That's great.
It's still got a hint of vomit.
This is perfect.
And
I'm so glad
sympathy vomiting, right?
No sympathy vomiting.
Threw up.
Though I will tell you right now, I had been kind of hungry and I wasn't anymore. It was, the flight, crazy turbulence. And I get that.
Is that why you threw up?
I guess. That the flight attendant.
Why you're supposed to have a ginger ale or something to settle your tummy?
Well, the sad
when
part
you're on the plane
is that he was about to get his drink service, but it hadn't gotten to him yet.
Yeah, well, now he's empty.
Maybe if he had that ginger ale,
yeah, he wouldn't have been throwing up.
Helped, but
gosh, that's the worst when you're in a plane and you're like, no one can go anywhere, and this is staying for the rest of the flight. Especially if you're the person next to them, and you should get a voucher.
2 hours of orange vomit later.
Oh gosh.
We were all getting off the plane, and I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, I got to walk over the vomit.
At least you weren't in the vomit.
I wasn't in it.
I mean, it's not as bad.
And I wasn't there to laugh at him. And
Did you not? Because that's how you cope with throwing up.
I know, and I felt good about the fact. It was like, you know what? It's for the best that I did get up and go to the bathroom, because if that guy had thrown up, and there's the idiot in 32A that can't stop laughing at the vomit guy, it's really for the best that I wasn't there.
Can you imagine if you looked up and you saw it just spraying? Like, what's that? What's that? Oh my gosh! And then,
Man, that's a cool trick. What is he? Oh my gosh!
Is that water?
It's happening, guys.
Is that the snack?
It's happening. It just happened.
Oh, that was best for you to not be there to witness that.
I just really feel like it was for the best that I wasn't a part of it.
Let's take all of the most mind-numbing things the Riot has ever said and play them again.
It's a stupid idea, but I love it.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
You know, I realize it's kind of been a week and a half, but we haven't really talked, Nikki, about Justice League or how it has been doing and just, all that stuff that, you and me, when we talk.
Sure. You had a chance to watch it over the weekend.
I did.
And Eric watched it too.
Yeah.
So this is all I'm going by. Well, no, actually, that's not true. I read an interesting article about because I was curious its first weekend out, how it actually did in the United States compared to like worldwide release. And they said it was not good for it, but it could have been worse, but still not good. And it just brought into how important the worldwide market is to some of these movies if they don't catch on here in the U.S.
So over the weekend, this weekend,
it's second weekend now, wasn't it?
It was number 2. It made $40 million. Of course, it lost out to Coco, but anything that you put up against a Pixar movie is pretty much going to lose.
Thanksgiving Pixar movie, like that's when those come out.
You can just forget about it. But in the United States, it's made $171 million. And with international stuff thrown in, I believe it's made almost $600 million, if I read that correctly. Think about that for a minute. They've made $600 million, and they're like, it's a flop.
Well,
it's no good.
They wanted it to still catch on because it's not just Justice League. It's Justice League and then like an Aquaman or a Flash, or the other Wonder Woman movie or Batman. Like it leads to other stuff.
They want to sell you a whole franchise. Yeah. And, well, I did see it. I'm going to go with good, not great.
A C?
Yeah, maybe a B.
A B minus?
Yeah, because it was good, but it just wasn't great. Probably the biggest problem that it has, more than anything else, is that the Marvel movies are so good. And then you go watch this, and it's just okay. If this movie existed in a world where there was no Marvel universe, you lose your mind for it. You'd be like, this is unreal. I've just never seen anything like it.
You can't follow up Thor with this.
No. And can I just say, Thor, let's be honest, it's like a cartoon. It's so colorful and crazy. But then you go over and watch Justice League. The bad guy, his name is Steppenwolf. Is
he a dance team?
He is.
I mean, what is it?
That's even better than what I wanted to say.
Is it all?
No, he looks like somebody took a ram, a goat, and the bad guy from Lord of the Rings and put him in a blender.
Aww.
And you're just like, look, everybody, the goat man is here.
They take it too seriously?
Goat man is scary. Oh, goat man has an axe. From the moment they introduced him, it was like, oh, don't tell me he's like the build-up to the bad guy, but he's not the bad guy.
Because then you can't be afraid of him.
Oh, he's the bad guy. We're afraid of the bad CGI man. Oh, that's too bad. How much did you guys spend on this movie? Should have put a guy in a costume or something, because this is bad, guys.
But again, the worldwide market saves it.
It does.
Or does it? Because, you get people have a bad impression of the movie here.
But
is it worth that bad of impression?
But to me, they went to see it. Like, you still made $170 million here. You made $600 worldwide.
They wanted $170 million its first weekend.
Its opening weekend.
Yeah, they wanted those numbers.
Well, you know what? You guys should have started with Joss Whedon or something. I don't know. But, dang, okay? Just dang.
Okay, so that's Obi's official review.
It's
dang,
not.
Okay, dang.
Actually, if you follow me on Facebook, after I went to see it, I did a 13-minute Facebook Live video.
Did you?
And
about it?
That's a long video of me just talking about the movie. When I looked down and saw I'd been talking for 13 minutes, I was like, whoa.
So if you ever listen to The Riot and you're like, man, I wish Obi would talk more about a movie, then that's perfect for you.
No one's ever said that.
No one ever.
You're hearing it for the first time, and it sounds terrible.
It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
It's tough out there, Nikki.
It is.
It's tough on a Cyber Monday, coming off a Black Friday, all of that money that you got to spend, all of those people waiting and wanting Christmas presents, expecting those Christmas presents to be under the tree, there for the Secret Santa exchange program, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of pressure. And Christy understands that. Christy's 44 years old. She works, in Arkansas County,
Arkansas, okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, Garland County. It's weird. That's an odd. Anyway. In the town of Hot Springs, she was just sentenced to 20 years probation.
What'd you do?
Only probation, though. All right.
20 years seems like a long time for probation, doesn't it?
But
I don't know the ways of the justice system, though, but...
I guess I've never been on probation, so I don't know,
I always thought probation was a couple of years, follow these rules, you don't go to jail, or you don't go back to jail.
In movies, you just call your parole officer, who every once in a while shakes you down for information.
You never know when they'll show up.
That's all.
Well, what did she do then? Because then that maybe depends on what the parole would be.
Well, Nikki, she had a county credit card. And over the course of how many years, I do not know, she spent about $366,000.
Of the county's money?
Yes. Now, she says here that she regrets her actions and that it was from the stress of supporting her entire family. She said, and I quote, "It became too much for her."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. Which is why, in the middle of all the things she did, she used those to pay for utility bills and auto car payments. I get that. She also got some tickets to the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Well, when you're stressed, you need some time to yourself or to go out on a date.
And then this is a diamond bracelet.
Now, if you don't love yourself,
that's right. How are you supposed to love other people?
How can you stop a life of crime?
That's exactly right. And then finally, and this is the one that I feel like so far everything we've said, we can make it work. We can make it work. But then we get to this one. She bought a dog tuxedo.
For her dog?
Yeah, I feel like there's one member of the family that's not putting any pressure on you to succeed.
To get that's your dog.
I don't think that's the one member of your family that you could show up with nothing and they'd still be happy to see you.
Unless you felt pressured because that was the one member always there for you and you did nothing for the dog.
Right, but see, that's self-imposed.
And you maybe had a special event to wear your diamond tennis bracelet. The dog needed a tuxedo.
Maybe that diamond tennis bracelet was actually for the dog.
Could be.
Yeah. So, no, Eric, you're coming to the party late. We already talked about the 20 years of probation.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yes.
I know.
How does that? Do you promise in the next 20 years to not steal again from the county? Okay, don't violate that.
On top of that, it sounds like she's not going to have to pay any of this back.
That doesn't teach anybody a lesson, does it?
No.
And does the dog still get to keep the tuxedo?
Well, she got a freebie. In fairness, Nikki, I don't think there's a big market for used dog tuxedos.
What about the bracelet? We got to give all that back?
It does.
It doesn't say anything about that?
It doesn't say. The only thing we see here is probation. There's nothing about reparations.
This is why I feel like we get conflicting messages about if we lead a life of crime, what will the punishment be?
Here's a question that you have to ask yourself is, would you be willing to go on probation for 20 years for $360,000? If somebody gave you a suitcase and they were like, here's $360,000, but you got to talk to the probation guy every so often.
I'd be willing to just only promise to have it go only to utilities and car payments. I wouldn't buy a bracelet with it. I wouldn't go outside the boundaries of if I'm stealing all this money, I'm going just with that. If that's my story of it's because I was overwhelmed.
Well, she was overwhelmed, Nikki, and her dog needed that tuxedo. And as you said, a little something for herself. Sometimes you got to treat yourself.
Apparently.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the Radio U Network through the Radio U app or at riot.radiou.com.
Have you considered a breakfast sandwich maker?